Leadership lessons in Star Trek. Number 1. How Captain Picard handled a member of his crew who was neurodivergent. This was in 1990.
I am not a therapist, and this is not a diagnosis.
When there's a party, I am the guy who winds up examining a potted plant. You're just shy, Barclay. Hey, Reg.
Barclay.
He's imaginative. The man's nervous. Nobody wants to be around this guy.
Season 3's Hollow Pursuits, in which Lieutenant Reginald Barclay is a much maligned officer with a few, well...
He has a history of seclusive tendencies.
And yet he chose this way of life.
The most recent task, where Barclay could not handle a simple duty like moving chemical containers from an alien race called the Micalax, has his superiors scratching their beards. The crew even started to become indignant of serving with...
Broccoli, you keep that to yourself.
Commander Geordi LaForge, his boss, puts him in for a transfer. Captain Picard, wise and compassionate leader he is, not only squashes the mockery of Barclay by his fellow officers, a trend he accidentally continues right to Barclay's face,
Mr. Broccoli.
but he orders Geordi to take a more coaching and less commanding way of getting the best results from his subordinate.
Try to find some way to help him to make a positive contribution. Get to know the man better.
And Geordi does it. He doesn't like it, but he does it, finding that a simple bit of trust goes a long way. It's not as if he's dealing with an invalid. Barclay is a brilliant diagnostic engineer. His inattentiveness, mannerisms, and general attitude all seem to suggest a type of neurodivergent tendency, most likely ADHD. Barclay simply finds it impossible to exist in the real world, so he escapes to the holodeck and becomes addicted to the fantasy where he is the king of the world, not a pawn. But it's not real. It takes a bit of prying and trying, but Geordi and Counselor Troy get Barclay out of his head just enough for him to get a slight sense of normalcy, only to have it immediately tested.
Mr. Worf, red alert.
The Enterprise is warping out of control after a series of unexplained internal malfunctions. Small ones at first, but they have left the engineering team with only minutes to find a way out before, well...
This ship is going to start tearing itself apart in 15 minutes. I want every idea on the table. I don't care how outrageous.
It's a structural failure, sir.
What if one of us is the connection? We're looking for a systemic explanation, and there isn't one.
After some computering...
Computer.
The discovery of a corrosive chemical is found, something not seen in decades, harmless to humans, but not the ship's circuitry. But where did it come from?
The Micalax might still be using it.
There's a good possibility we picked up some Invidium from a broken canister in the cargo bay and have been spreading it around the ship.
They find it, and all is well. Captain Picard understood that there was nothing wrong with Barclay. He just had unfulfilled needs to reach his full potential. Once he did, he was more productive and happier all around. Leaders notice things. Picard leads Geordi. Geordi leads Barclay. Barclay leads himself, with some counseling, right out of the holodeck.
That is until he becomes a supremely caffeinated, hyper-focused super genius, plugs himself into the computer, and basically invents the Matrix.